So here we are, back for yet another Ski Rest Media podcast episode. We are now going into February. Happy birthday to me when that comes in a couple weeks. Yes, you can hear some radios in the background, but that's okay. We don't mind radios because we're working. We're working men. That's what we do. Who's we? Well, first, before we get into the we, let's do the sponsor reads, and then we're going to switch it up this week. This week, we're going to start with Saint Custom Skis and Snowboards. I've always said if you're going to be in ski media, you need a couple things to be legit. A ski sponsor is one of those things, and Saint is who is making skis for me. Whatever you want. You want a specific length, they'll do that. Width, they'll do that. You want it cut a certain way so you can ride in your powder or on your groomers or whatever you want with whatever graphic you want. If you want swear words and naughty pictures, they'll do that for you. They'll do stuff that looks like something off a heavy metal, hair metal album cover of the 80s. That's what mine are going to look like. Saint Custom Skis and Snowboards in Gorham, New Hampshire. SaintSkis.com. Check them out. Now, why are we doing them first and not Whaleback? Well, you know I love Whaleback. I say all the time, Whaleback is great. If you want the groom stuff, they got the groom stuff. You want the natural, you want the natural. If you want accessibility and a low-cost ticket, come here. It's exit 16. There's nothing else off this exit, which is not true, but it's the biggest game off the exit. So come on down. And I say come on down because I'm here. I'm on location today. Today I am here with not just one, but two folks. First and foremost, John Hunt. Welcome back to the program.
Thank you very much, Tim. Pumped to be out.
And secondly is Alex, whose last name I'm sure I've butchered for months, so I'm going to let him say it.
Alex Lahood. Thanks for coming out tonight, Tim.
So it is Lahood, so I've gotten it right. It is how it's spelled. You never know. You never can tell if it's how it's spelled or not. So we're here at Whaleback today because I love it. We talk, we hang out. Me and Alex took a run, sort of. He's a much better skier than me, so I just said, go ahead, whatever. Plus, I had to stop. I am still leg burning from skiing down at Sunapee yesterday with the veterans, which by the time you hear this was almost a month ago. So, how's it going, guys? Whoever wants to go first. How's Whaleback starting out the season? A little rough.
Yeah, things are good. You know, we had a great start to the season. We had a solid 5 or 6 days. A lot of people here, had some great conditions, and everything ran really smoothly. Unfortunately, then we saw about, 1.5 to 2 inches of rain and 5 days of 50-plus degrees, and we had to close it down for a few days while our amazing mountain ops team kicked it back into gear and made snow at every opportunity they had, which unfortunately wasn't very much over those 6 days that we were closed, but they got it done and we reopened as of yesterday at 2 p.m. and we are full steam ahead since then. So, and it's pretty good out there. I was just out there and came in covered in snow, so can't complain.
Yeah, it's snowing right now here, and it's whatever day it is, the 12th of January, and it's beautiful out there. I was coming down watching the kids ski, the weird group of kids that was coming down. Alex, I think you've got to see it now, too. I was saying there's racer kids in there just bombing. You have your regular recreational people who are just hanging out, doing whatever, and then you got the people who shouldn't be up there. Now, this trail, it's open from the top to bottom. It's not hard, but it's not easy, so please, when they do put the sign at the bottom of the lift that says intermediate only, please follow that. You guys have already had some calls pulling people down with ski patrol, I've heard, yeah?
We put the sign up intermediate advanced only, and some people either don't know what that means or they maybe guess that they're a little bit better or they think they are those things and they're not quite there. But that's okay. That's why we got ski patrol. They need to stay busy, and they're staying busy today. So
they certainly are. And good for them. I'm glad they have a job where they can stay busy and have a lot of fun. And we're going to talk a lot of fun. Now, we could go over the history of Whaleback and all this, but we've done that in the past. John has gone over that with us a few times. We even went over that with a little bit with Stuart Winchester over at Storm Ski in his episode, which, people really enjoyed. So let's talk about the future. Let's just start with this season. What do we got going on? I know tonight we got Thursday Night Race League starting, so that's awesome. And that'll be going through almost to March, yeah?
Yeah, pretty much right through the end of February.
Right through the end of February. So there you go. Come sign up. Teams, but you are taking singles this season, I believe, yeah?
We are, yeah. We're super excited to start tonight. We got about over 20 teams as of now and a handful of individuals. So the teams will race head-to-head tonight doing time trials, just figure out which league people are going to go into. The individuals will either fill in on teams if they need a substitute or something like that. And if nothing else, they'll do time trials at the end just to have a little fun. We got DJ Steel Wool coming in tonight for a little 80s party. That should be a blast. Gourmet hot dogs on the deck. She's throwing wings in the smoker right now. It's gonna be a party, so we're pretty excited about it.
And Whaleback does know how to throw a party, man. I've been here for a few of them through the summer and the fall. Great times all around. I love it here. What else we got going on this season? Anything special? Anything fun? Just going to get open and stay open, provided weather cooperates?
Yeah, the goal is to get open, stay open, host races almost every weekend. We're excited that we're bringing back the Tri-State Championships, the freestyle championships that we hosted last year. So they'll be back on March 4, 5, and 6. So that'll be a fun weekend. Yeah, a lot happening. We're pretty excited.
That's what I try to get out when I tell people about this place. Like, they're like, it's a small place, right? I was like, yeah, and it has all those advantages. You know, all the trails lead to the same place, so you won't lose your kids. It doesn't cost that much. Believe me, it's one of the best ticket deals, one of the best season pass deals ever. Like, you can't. I feel bad when I bought my pass early at the end of last season. It was about $200, and even without the good weather, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be down to like $10 a day, maybe 12. So I'm kind of robbing them, and that's not fair. What do you guys think of that?
I'll go. I don't think that's robbing. I think that's exciting. I mean, that's what our mission is. We want to be accessible to everyone. We want to break down that barrier of high cost to get into a sport that we all love in snow sports. And by providing those ticket passes at that price point, we're helping people get onto the mountain. Folks that maybe don't have the chance to get to a bigger mountain or don't have the opportunity to dish out $230 for a day pass. We're trying to buck the system in that way.
Yeah. No, and they really are. They're undercutting everybody. Alex, you have something to say about that.
Yeah, I think, John kind of nailed it right there on the head. But, it's the future generation. We don't want to price those people out of skiing and snowboarding. I can't imagine being a family of, God, 4 or 5 or 6 and trying to go to one of these mega resorts and paying who knows how much for a weekend, where you can come on down, drive 10 minutes down the highway, come to Whaleback and bring your whole family in here and make it affordable and really make sure that all the kids get a love of snow sports and want to keep going in the future. Because if we don't have those younger generations get into it, the sport might die out, and we don't want that.
No, we don't want that. And kids love this place. I constantly see kids here, kids groups from schools, the racer kids, just kids. You can tell they're just kids. So it's a great place. It's a good time. And they're pushing towards the future, like we said. I see from here you got the new lights turned on. They look friggin' fantastic, man. How do they work when it's pitch black?
They're great. I mean, we ran that campaign this summer. That's a kind of a mini piece of our overall capital campaign, and we were able to rally our support structure and our community to raise $15,000. We've spent a good portion of that on wiring, on new lights. There's still a little bit stashed away for next summer to be able to relight a new trail up the top. But I think, what we have out there now, it's good and bright, especially on the race run. You can, you'll see the finish line when you come through now.
That's awesome. That'll make it easier on me too. If I'm going to be up there taking pictures and stuff tonight. Hey, you can get me up on a lift at nighttime. I haven't done that in a while. That should be a lot of fun. So, Karen, now one of the reasons I wanted to talk to these guys again is because folks asked me about the new lift project that's coming, and this was, John, you talked about it on the Flannel Fest night, and I was just joking around. I said I was there, I was paying attention, but I don't remember everything. So better to get it from the horse's mouth, boys. A new lift is exciting. Some people would say, well, is it like that 6-pack at Waterville Valley? No, but that's Waterville Valley. This is a whole other idea. Like, they have their ideas. They do what they do. We do what we do here. Someone else does what they do there. Not competitive, just different. What's the new lift about?
Yeah, I mean, that's the other big piece of this capital campaign that we're really excited to be closing in less than a year. Originally, it was a 3-year plan to raise the funds for it, and we're going to be closing it this year. So next summer, we'll be investing in a Starlift USA. It's called their Sunkid Comfort Megastar Tow. Essentially, it's a tow rope on steroids. It's a rope with a platter and a handle, with a much bigger motor than the one we currently have to get us up, arguably one of our steeper pitches, to get up lower spout, which provides us the opportunity to open earlier in the season, because as we make snow, we don't have to wait for top to bottom to be prepared. we can start making snow. We can open that portion of the trail. And as we continue to invest in our snowmaking systems, it'll also give access to Scrimshaw, which is a green circle, and Canyon and the lower part of our terrain park. So the goal is, once this lift is in, earlier in the season, we'll be able to open race training, a pretty good pitch for the public, a green circle for the public, and the terrain park. So the core team can do their training, but also the public can get in there and jump off some boxes like Alex likes to do. Yeah. So it's really a great piece of the puzzle for us. I know some would look at a smaller mountain and say lift capacity is not a goal for you. I think, but it is in reality. It's lift capacity early in the season, and it's a much easier purchase for us than replacing our entire chair right now. Which, quite honestly, with a new chair, doesn't give us half the mountain earlier in the season. We recognize that the chair is a big piece of the future, and we'll get to that down the road. But right now, the chair is running, and we've invested over $150,000 in the last 2 years to get that chair up to code and to be safe. The next step is putting in the surface lift so we can open earlier in the season. And should we have issues with the chair, or, for example, this past week when we weren't open because we didn't have top-to-bottom skiing, if we had the surface lift up, we would have at least had that section of the mountain open. So this last week, as awful as it was to be closed for 6 days, it highlighted, better than me talking about it or better than any pictures, it highlighted the need for this lift.
Absolutely. And I don't even think that's an issue of capacity. That's just good lift placement. And that'll be beautiful because it's a great run. If you look at it, it's got some steep. It'll burn your legs after you do it 10 or 12 times. Get up there and just run it, from a surface lift, which is fine. Your legs will be burning. Alex, what do you got on the new lift, man?
I think, everything John said and a little more. We got the race trainers that I'm looking at right now going out there, and, they will have to go all the way over to that other lift right there. They'll be able to hop right on and just get more laps in and, continue to get better every run. So just make it happen,
Absolutely. And where it drops off, like you were saying, you were just listing trails, John. That's plenty for a day of early season. Because, we talk about early season at the bigger places. They only have a trail open, maybe 2, maybe 5 if you're bigger, but who cares? Screw them. No, that's mean. I'm not going to say that. We're not doing competitive stuff. I'm just having fun. Good.
It also does take a little bit of the pressure off to the other lifts. So for the, folks in the learning area, there's not going to be the lines of the race trainers coming through, or on the lift, there's not going to be the lines of the race trainers coming through and jamming it up, because they're going to be over on the other section of the hill, and it's going to split the capacity around the mountain much better for us. And like Alex said, provide them an opportunity to get laps so their training is successful. We are the home of 5 different training programs, so it's quite a bit of our population is using that section. And it'll be great to not impact the general public during training times.
Absolutely. When you come to race train, everybody's running for the one lift. Put the racer kids over there, and you're golden. And that's a beautiful thing, and I love it. Now, this is going to sound like a jerky question. I don't mean it to be. Not necessarily giving credit to who figured this out, but who figured this out? How did you figure it out? How did you get to this when you're standing on the back deck and looking chair is good, but this is better? How do you get there?
It's been a long conversation even before Alex and I started. The big, the strategic vision of the nonprofit, of the foundation, was being developed for a year or two before I was hired. Phase 1 was coming up with that strategic vision, and phase 2 was hiring an executive director and getting our team in order. And then it was, what are the capital improvements we need to make? And we focused early on, in talking with Gerd Reese, our director of mountain ops, who is, to call him a Superman is an understatement. He just doesn't wear a cape. He does everything on this mountain and supports this mountain 100%. So in working with Gerd and with the board, we recognized that this was the path to go first, while at the same time investing in our snowmaking and upgrading the lights. And that's why that whole first phase of the campaign was focusing on surface lift, lights, and snowmaking enhancements. And snowmaking enhancements are an ongoing process, but we've already made great strides in that area. We've reworked some of the piping around the mountain to be more efficient. We've invested more in fans than than in your normal stick guns because they're more efficient. They're easier to run for less of a staff, which we have less staff. So we feel like we're heading in a really great direction.
I would agree with that. Like to hear, when I first found out about this place, 2017, when I moved back, I happened to drive by the interstate. I was like, what's that? I've never seen or heard of that. And to see it come along from just where it was 2 years ago, like again, 2017, but I didn't really start working with the mountain skiing here till like 2 seasons ago. And man, it's come along. It's like you all are pushing right to the, you're going to, I don't want to have to say you might put some of the other guys out, but you might put some of the other guys out maybe eventually. I don't know.
No, I think the beauty of it is there is room for all mountains right now. There are more people skiing this year and last year than in the past. I think coming out of a pandemic, people want to find more ways to get outside for their physical and their mental health. So I think there is room for places like Whaleback, and there's room for big corporate mountains as well. I think we can all play nice together, and as long as there are more people skiing and riding, that's better for everyone.
Absolutely. 100% agree. And there is no true competitive stuff. Like I talk BS about it, but I am just kidding. Again, we all know each other. John has some kind of crazy story he started to tell out by the lift with Tim Smith, whom you heard last week, and we love him too, man. And Waterville's just a whole other thing, And we're gonna see if we can get all these, people who run these mountains, John and Alex and Tim and whomever else, so we can just tell stories, because God, some of you's got some crazy stories, and that's the best part. Plus, I don't have to do as much talking, so that's less thought for me. So we're gonna have a new surface lift. We have new lights. We're pushing into the future. Thursday night race league. It is beautiful. What else we got going on? Oh, we have that new groomer out there. What's that thing like?
Pretty nice. Kurt's been super happy with that. Definitely kind of optimized our grooming, made pushing around the snow a lot easier, and I think he's having a good time using it too. So, and it looks cool out there.
It really does. It's a nice printout. It needs some Whaleback paint on it or vinyl, whatever. That coming along too, is that part of is that like phase 2.38 or something?
I would say the groomer itself is part of the phase 1, and I should have mentioned that earlier because it specifically supports the on-snow experience. But phase 2 will be, finding someone who wants to sponsor it. I was joking with Tim earlier that, we don't want to be NASCAR, but we'll put sponsorship logos on different things for the right type of deal and for the right company that we want to work with. For example, we just partnered with Dunkin' Donuts. They painted one of our chairs bright pink. They'll be offering a Everyone Runs on Dunkin', Take Your Ski Runs Day, where they're going to be giving out free samples in the coming weeks. So we're excited about the growth in our sponsorships as well. So if someone wants to put their logo on the side of a relatively brand new Prenoth Bison, please feel free to reach out.
Yeah, totally do it, dude. Somebody do that. Dang, if Ski Media only had more money to be part of a livery like that, would be incredible. And I think it would look great. I also think it would look great with also looking like an 80s hair metal album cover, but whatever. I think that's just me who's into that. But it does look great out there, and I'm sure, man, to see a mountain like this, and again, that's what I was saying, to see it coming along, and God, I feel like in the next 5 years, this cool old lodge we're sitting here will be demolished and something put up, and, hopefully not big and gaudy like some other mountains do, or that thing in that lodge over at the Hermitage Club, which looks like it should be in Wyoming, which they said to me. I didn't say that. They said that to me. But still, you are pushing that way. What happens when you all get it to a point where there's nothing else to do, or is there going to always be something to do?
As any of your listeners know, I have not been in this industry for very long.
Sure.
Alex has been in a little bit less than me.
Sure.
And we already recognize and have learned that there's never an end to the work you can do. There's always ways that we can enhance our skier and rider experience. There's always things to fix. I think our goal as an organization is to prove that we can be a sustainable nonprofit ski area, which is very rare in the world.
Sure.
While staying true to who we are and what is our unique character. I think we talked about the first time we talked that
Sure.
It's a borderline cultish following that we have. And we want to continue that. We don't want to grow outside of we don't want to get too big for our britches.
Yeah, we want to preserve what Whaleback is, and just keep this vibe that we have, and that'll always be here. That's something we can say with 100% guarantee.
Even with a brand new lift and a new lodge, the lodge is still going to have a sweet little pub in it because that's what we want. The lifts that we invest in the future are going to stay true to the size of the mountain and the scope of the mountain, but they're going to be more reliable in the future.
Yeah, and that's cool, man.
Good. Glenn and I will still be out there, running the carpet and giving little kids high fives and bumping chairs. That's something we'll always be doing.
I prefer bumping chairs to run in the carpet.
See, and that's just it. Now, I've been asking people as we've been talking. I don't remember if I asked John, because I wasn't doing the bit yet, but as we talk, we've said the further up the ladder you go, if you go from just, being a lifty or being in food service or whatever, if you get an office, you're rarely in it because you're doing everything else. Some people have their things. I think Hathaway likes parking. Tim Smith likes ops. What do you guys like to do when you're not doing what you were hired to do, but everything else? Not to say their employees stink. It's just part of what happens.
One of my favorite things, I think, is being involved in the night races that we have here, the Thursday Night Race League and the Tuck Race League. I think that's a lot of fun. Being up there, the start guys, tons of fun. Just, giving a little hype out there and yelling 3, 2, 1, go is just like, gives me goosebumps every time I do it.
Oh, yeah.
But, out there on the carpet is also pretty high up there, too. Like, those little kids, man, that are, 2, 3 years, 5 years old out there giving me a high five, and they're so pumped to be there. And I just know that, like, they're going to be me one day ripping down the mountain, and this is where they're starting. I think that's super cool. But one last final thing I would say, I know I'm going all over the place, but sitting in that top shack is pretty relaxing for sure up there, just watching the skiers come in, make sure they get off safely, the skiers and riders, and that just a little quiet time up there is always good.
Excellent. What do you say?
I'd say favorite parts of this job are, there's two. One is running the bumping chairs. I get the opportunity to really interact with our guests and our community, and I really like that. That's a piece that you can't replicate anywhere else, where, I get the chance to say hello, to ask how their day is, and wish them a safe, fun trip is really fun to me. And then the other favorite piece is every day when we turn the lifts on and there's people showing up on the mountain. The amount of hours I've spent here since I've worked here, where it's just me sitting in the office and no one on the mountain in the off season or in the on season when it's rained. I don't like those times. I like when the lodge is full, when the mountain's got people coming down it, when the lifts are full. It's really exciting for us.
I can imagine, and I like how you bring it up, being able to talk to or really interact with your guests, and the entirety of the staff is very good at that. Like I talked to all these people. One of your lifties who's in Colorado this season, I think he said, he recognized me at Killington one day for the races. I was there working the races. He talked to me. I didn't even see him in the crowd. And I was like, man, that's all from being able to actually talk to these people from the small town hill. It's not people just shoving you up a chair. You're actually having these conversations, and it's wonderful. And like I say, I tell people all the time, come on down, man. And, now you have other options. Not only can you come ski, you could put something on the side of the groomer if you want to do that, and we can get it all wrapped up and it'll look great. Anything else you guys want to throw out there? Actually, there is. Now, Thursday Night Race League when this first debuts, we're about 3 weeks in. John, you were a top finisher last season.
The winner.
I'm a defending champ of the B League, and I've never ski raced in my life. My team carried me, which is normal. That's what happens in my day job, is that my team carries me and gives me the opportunity to celebrate our wins.
Excellent. So we're defending. That's great. Alex, you racing this year?
Not racing, no. I'm more of a make it happen, make sure everything...
Heckling me in the start gate.
Heckling him and all the racers for sure. But this year I want to get out there and get some content too. Got a brand new go.
Yeah, me and Alex are going to be out there sticking cameras in people's faces. I might stick a microphone in someone's face too. It's a lot of fun to do that. Awesome, guys. It sounds like even though the season's a rough start, it has been for everyone. We're still positive, still running, still here, and still having a good time, man. That's awesome. I love it. And I love skiing here. I took a few runs, my first runs of the season here, and it was a great time. Gentlemen, thank you very much for doing this again. Everybody coming out the Whaleback. Alex, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And John, as always, very popular here on Ski Ranch Media.
Thanks, Tim. See you to believe it.
And there you go, a double-header guest episode with John and Alex, both from Whaleback at Whaleback. Thank you to those guys. Let me tell you something. This episode almost didn't happen. Why? Well, let me tell you a story. The night that we recorded that was the first night of Thursday Night Race League, right? Right. Now, I had this whole plan. We're going to get together. We're going to do the little update episode for Whaleback. Then we're going to go out on the hill, and it's going to be Thursday Night Race League, and I'm going to take a bunch of pictures and videos and record people. Well, the pictures and videos came out pretty decent, I think. You saw those on social media if you follow Ski Rex Media on social media, but the audio came back like garbage. Let me tell you something. The audio that I recorded on the side of the hill, putting the microphone in people's faces, like I said at the end of this one, forget it. I lost almost all of it. I have like a sentence, one sentence from somebody, and I couldn't even clean it up to sound right. I have no idea what happened there, so that was kind of a bummer. And then the audio from the episode was all over the place. 25 minutes of audio, and I had to fight to get it to be something usable. Now, if you listen to the episode, it wasn't so bad. It's 99% there, but that 1% is noticeable. In fact, a couple times the audio issues step on Alex, and I feel bad about that. That's kind of a bummer, but 99%, but that was quite the fight of editing and bringing in software that could help clean up the audio. But you know what? We got it done the night we recorded it, and I got it done in post editing here in the HQ, and it worked out, and I really do hope you enjoyed it. The talking to people who lead mountains, mountain managers, GMs, other executive director, pick your poison on the title. Some of their titles are the same, some are different. That continues. We continue talking to mountain leads for the next couple of episodes. Next week starts. There's going to be 2 episodes. Not next week. There's going to be 1 episode next week. The following week's episode, 2 in a row, are going to be mountain leads. And for the first one, it's all from the King Pine ski area and the Gunstock Mountain Resort trip I took. You remember that if you follow me on social media. You know I was on the media trip with a bunch of folks, and that was really awesome. Next week, we have from King Pine, Sean Taylor, operations and assistant GM, as well as Chris Setchell from King Pine. He's the ski school director, so that'll be a doubleheader from King Pine, doubleheader guest episode. And then the following week is Tom Day from Gunstock Mountain. He runs that place down there, and we talk about Gunstock, a few other things, including all the drama that went down at Gunstock. You get it from the horse's mouth this time because someone asked me to ask him. So there's the next couple weeks. Who's coming up after that? I don't know. I should probably record some more, shouldn't I? But if you have any suggestions of someone you would like to hear on the Ski Rex Media podcast, let me know. I'll reach out to them and we'll see what's the what, right? Right. Thank you for listening again to the Ski Rex Media podcast. I really do appreciate it. Follow and subscribe everywhere you can. Leave comments wherever you can. Leave ratings wherever you can. 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts has been known to happen. Right. And again, if you're listening to this on Podbean, that's awesome. I do appreciate that. If you're listening to it anywhere else, that's great too. Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Amazon. It's all over the place. You can find the Ski Rex Media podcast by searching Ski Rex Media podcast or going to skirexmedia.com and then going to the podcast page. Right. I think you know how the rest of this works. There's all kinds of contact information in the show notes, in the description. Check that out. Check out all kinds of other stuff. Follow, subscribe, all that. And I will see you out there. I hope you're having a good season, everybody. Later.